push her show. Tonight, I got a lot of things I want to talk about. Well, first of all, I brought the, if you're going to bring something different, so I brought the 7-string Strat tonight to demo some stuff I want to show everybody. I want to get back into some of the things we did last week and maybe some stuff we haven't touched on yet, but a few other things. Saw the bands last night out to Madison with the competition and another round, and all bands did a great job out there. The final one's tonight. Thinking about checking that out myself and see how that goes. Saw our old friend Todd Brewer out there last night. That was a treat to see him. Haven't seen him for a while. We sat around and talked, me and him and Curtis, about some of his songs and stuff we've done, you know, way back and this and that. So it was good to see him. And a couple other things. I had some pictures that I purchased from somebody off of eBay a while back of Randy Rhoads back a while back, and there was about 5 of them, and I had gotten on Facebook and gotten hold of the Son of School Music, where Randy's brother Kelly still runs with his mother out in California, and sent him a message on Facebook, and amazingly enough, he sent me a message back and saying, you know, he'd like to see them, and I took it on myself to. I sent him the ones I got. I didn't make copies. He 3 of them he hadn't seen before, so they were quite pleased with being able to see those pictures of Randy. And I got him back. He sent them back to me with a nice card and everything. So that was pretty cool be able to touch on that and, you know, get back somehow to Randy Rhoads' legacy, which is just out of this world. It's still felt today and will be as long as there's rock and roll and guitars. You know, he was probably one of my top, you know, favorite guitar players, still is. And so I thought that was pretty cool. His brother, you know, doing that, thanking me and everything. So I'm going to get into a few things tonight on the guitar. We're going to do a couple more of the pentatonic ideas. Now, I'm not going to stay in the key of E as much like we did last week. I'm going to jump around maybe into A and D a little bit. Some of this stuff sounds a little better if you play it out D or A or whatever. So we'll be jumping around a little bit as far as the positionings, and we'll be doing show a few tapping ideas that I do they're kind of my ideas that I kind of conjured up myself. Some of them are, you know, 2 and 3 string taps. Some of them are little mini arpeggios. I'm going to touch on some of those also. It's going to be a grab bag of stuff. I'm going to maybe do a couple of some speed picking type licks. Maybe some open tapping and things like that. And if you don't have a 7 string, just not a big deal. I'll just skip over the B, you know, and we'll work up to your next 6 there, and see how that goes. Got some picking ideas too I want to share with you, some couple legato ideas and things like that. See how that goes. Check out the sound here and see what's going on. Anybody hasn't played a 7 string before, as you know, this is the low string's your B, so you get that extra octave. So if you're playing your E's, that, for example, like that, you got here, now you got your B. Kind of avoid having to, you know, you don't have to do any retuning, and you can play everything, you know, right where it is. It's kind of hard to get used to a little bit at first with the neck quite wide. It's as you get up towards the top here, it can be pretty beefy. I mean, for small-handed people like myself, it's really a stretch. It's also 24 frets. I mean, you can reach them all, but it gets really wide up here. Even down here, it's not too bad, but it's a little wide. So, like I said, you have to play a 7 string. Basically, you can come up with some pretty cool ideas. Like you can also do some open strings with some chords. You can run some pretty neat little riffs with that. There's a lot of different things you can do with that low string that you just can't get into with your regular 6s, and it's pretty cool to have. So, now I bought this guitar from Willie Marshall, but God, back in the Mars Music days. It's been a long time ago. Actually, I think the wife bought this for me, so I'm gonna make sure I get that right, because she'll tell me about it later. Let's get into one lick. Let's try one of these. This one's kind of a pentatonic thing, but it kind of strays out of it a little bit. I kind of took this one from Ace Frehley. I think he used this one on I forget. I think it was "Let Me Go Rock and Roll." He does a lot of cool little licks in that song. If you ever listen to it by Kiss. What he is, he's basically out of the A pentatonic. Then he does a couple of pinch notes at the end of it that kind of gives it that feel. So it's, I think, from what I remember, that's a pretty cool little lick he throws at the end of it. So basically, it's you do just your normal pentatonic type thing. There it is. Now you want to hit that B an extra time. You slide to it and then hit it again. Then he kind of does this. Kind of a tasty little lick he does at the, I think it's on the, I don't know if it's on the main solo, it's kind of like a tag right before the next verse. So that's a pretty cool one that he does there. Tell you what, I'll turn the delay off real quick here. There we go. Let's do that again, we'll kind of slow it down. Simple little thing. If you play guitar, pretty much you know how to do that. So it's, the trick is you want to hit that another one twice instead of, that's not what he's doing, it's, and then, so it's, that's a pretty cool little lick. I thought, maybe I'd bring that on the show. So that's one that he does, and of course Ace is one of my favorites, so I had to do that one. Let's do it again. Let's do the. We'll do it again. Basically, you're 19 on the G, bending up to the B on the 17, and then the 17 on the E. So you get. So there's your first part. Pick, pick, bend, pick, pick. So again, it's not, which he does that too, but this particular spot he doesn't do it there. The next part is basically just follow the pentatonic box down, and he's hammering and pulling off. So you got the. That's how I figured out how to do it. I don't know if he, does that exactly that way, but that's how I figured it out. And that second part is your D string, 14, and then your G string on 17. So it's, and then you come back to your D on the 17. There you go. That's your Ace Frehley lick of the week there, and you don't really hear a lot of people do that lick, and it's a pretty cool little lick if you can find something to throw it in. I mean, I found that it sounds best if you use it if you're in something out of A, but it may work somewhere else, but A is the sweet spot for that lick. Another one, I think I might have touched on this one last week, but I'm going to do it again. A couple people was asking about it. That's another kind of an old school lick I took off of an old Ace Frehley lick. I think it might have been Dressed to Kill, Hotter Than Hell, 1 and 2 albums. He also did it on some of his solos when he was doing on the original live album. But so there's your first part. He does it fast, so it's kind of hard to hear that first part, but I got one of those little slower downer things so you can slow stuff down, and that's what he's doing. So if you notice that part, it goes by fairly quick. So there you go. So it's you got your 15th fret on your G, then you hammer on your 16th. Then you want to keep your index finger planted on the 15th fret on the B and the E. So it's Kind of like you're playing an F chord. It's the shape of an F. Just take your ring finger off. So there's the first part of it. Then he kind of walks up. He does that overbend right there on the 20th fret, 19th fret, sorry about that. So it's and you got to overbend it or it doesn't sound right. Because if you just do it regular, it's not right. It's Jimmy Page did that a lot, you know, with the overbending. Alex Lifeson did it a lot. Does it a lot. You just got to really listen for it. So again, we're doing this one out of G. It sounds better there, so we'll slow it down. So you got 15, 16 on the G. Plant 15 and 15 on the high E and the B. Right here is kind of open for kind of how you want to do it. I kind of just walk it up in little half steps. Half step there. Slide down. Walk it back up. Get that last, you know, that bend's kind of important with that overbend. So to speed, if you get to it, that's kind of how I do it at speed. It's kind of open, like I said, how you want to get walked up to that last part. But once you get it all together, it sounds pretty cool to have that all trained together at once like that. So let's do it slow again. I don't know what song he did that on. It might have been, I can't remember for sure what it was. But I definitely took it from Ace Frehley. So, and again, that lick works everywhere. It actually sounds good if you do it down in the A position, down in the middle. It works everywhere. If you want to do it D. Works everywhere. I like that lick. If you come to a 12 show, occasionally you might hear me do that on a couple of songs. I just got to know where to sneak it in, you know. So, well, let's do it just to make sure everybody's cool with this one because it does have quite a bit of notes in it. And again, you can walk up here. What I'll do is kind of walk up like that. And the fingering's open, whatever fingers you're comfortable with. I like to use my pinky because I keep my hand spread out a lot. So, you know, if the note happens to fall there, I'll use my pinky. So there's another cool little ace lick there. All right, let's move on to, well, let's get into we want to get into a tap lick maybe. This one's kind of open for, you know, however you like to do it. I'll do this one out of ease just so everybody knows what's going on. I don't know where I got it. I kind of just did it myself. I think it's a cross between a Red Beach lick and an Eddie Van Halen lick. a couple other people, but I don't know. It's one that I'd use as a tag, just to, like the end of a song, or as a tag before the next verse starts or something like that. But I'll do it up to speed, and it's open to how you want to do it. Starts on the high E, goes down to the. It's basically only 3 or 4 strings, so it's not that many. But it's one that you want to get done quickly and get back to your rhythm. I might have even got this from Brad Gillis. God, I don't know. Here's. Now, I did put some delay on that because, as you guitar players know, a little bit of delay helps when you're tapping because it kind of fills in some of the gap. What that is, it's I don't technically know if it's a minor. I mean, it probably is a minor because of the little half inklings in there, but I'll do it again. Again, it was kind of my own, mixed up between 3 or 4 other players. So what that one does is the pattern's the same, so the spacing. So you got whatever finger you like to tap with. So I like to use middle. This one sometimes it depends. So you got 12, 13, 15 on the high E, and then 17 on the high E. Now what I like to do is start out hammering on and then get the tap going. You don't want to hit the tap first. You want to get this going first. So I kind of like to do this and then get that. So there's a difference. You don't want to go. That doesn't sound quite as good to me, but so you want to get this going first. And again, I'm using my pinky there, but if you're more comfortable using your ring finger, you can. But to me, that seems kind of awkward. You want, like I was saying in last week's lessons, your hand lays naturally covering 4 frets. So I mean, why stretch that out when your pinky's already there? So yeah, basically there it is. 12, 13, 15, and then the tap is on the 17. And you want to get this going first, and then you throw your tap in, and that applies as you go down. You want to do that. Now the fingering changes once you get down to when you get to the G, but we'll get to that. Let's do the first 2 strings first. So there's your quick tap there. And you can hit as many times as you want, once, twice, whatever, or you can go back and forth with it. If you like to do it that way. There's times when I've done it where I'll throw a extra top part on, like that, or I'll do the rip thing a little bit. Now the rest of it's just from the G, the D, the E, and the B, or the D, the A, and the E. You want to do 12, 14, 17. So you got, and again, you want to make sure you do the left-hand part before you tap. The difference. You don't want to go. Well, you can do that, but to me it sounds better to do the left-hand part first and then do the tap. Like that. There's a little bit of difference. If you know what you're listening for, you hear the difference. So then the other way is you hear the difference. So again, do the whole thing. Well, let's keep going with this part. So again, it's 12, 14, and 17 on the G, D, A, and then you end on the E, and you kind of end it there. If you're doing the lick and there's not enough time to get all, if you're doing a quick fill right before a vocal comes back in, you could end it somewhere else, but that's a good spot to end it if you like to end it there. a good one to use. Works everywhere. I like. Sometimes you can do it out of A. I've done it there. It sounds good in A too, actually. If I do use that lick, it's usually A or E. I'm sure D, you know. And you know, there's movements in there. You can add slides or whatever you want to do in there, but that's the basic form of it. So again, it's 12, 13, 15, 17 on the E and the B, and make sure you get the, like I said, get the left hand going first. And then get your tap. And, everybody thought that the tapping was out, and if you listen to a lot of radio now, that I do listen occasionally at work if the guy's got the radio on 96 Rock or EBN or whatever. There's a lot more guitar solos now than there used to be. There's a lot of good players out there. There's a lot of guys are doing a lot of tapping again, a lot of speed picking and some other stuff. So I've always used taps. I don't there for a while the guitar solos died out with the influx of your Nirvanas and things like that, and I love that stuff too, but I miss them solos, and it's good to see a lot of the young bands coming back. And there's a lot of good bands out there that Jake listens to. My son, he's 14. He listens to Black Veil Brides, Bring Me the Horizon, and I'll check out and see what he's listening to. And there's a lot of good players out there. These are young guys that really know what's going on. Not always my thing, with some of the growling and the screaming, but some of these bands, they do have some singers. And I can't think of the one guy he lets me hear. This guy has a really, really clean, high voice, young kid, dark long hair, plays guitar, and just some great melodies. I'll find out who that is and talk about it next week. But yeah, sometimes you should give it a chance. Check out some of that new music. Just if it's only for a minute, you're going to hear something, maybe you haven't heard before, or as a guitar player, or a singer, or drummer, especially drummers. Right now, the drumming out there is just out of this world. So, what we got, Greg, about a minute or two? Can we get a break in? We're going to go ahead. Let's get a break real quick. I'm going to get a drink, and we'll get back to some taps and some more licks. So we'll be back here in a few. Everything's coming through all right? I can't escape this feeling deep inside. I can't recall the last time I had someone to call mine. My heroes are all gone. Back after a short break there. Back to Guitar Talk with Productions by G. One remind you, a couple of shows we have going on here. You got On Cue with Susan Priest. That would be on Thursdays at 7 o'clock. If you want to tune in and check that out, so some good listening, some good entertainment. And also we have Pep on his Pounding the Pavement on Tuesdays at Bojangles, and that's another good show you want to check out. Some interesting topics and all kinds of goodies there, so I would recommend checking that one out too. So, alright, we're situated here. Gonna get back into some other stuff here. I got a couple of things I want to do. Like I said, tonight's show is going to just be a grab bag of material. I've got a couple of little arpeggios that I like to use. I'm not big on using a lot of arpeggios. I don't feel confident enough to use them a lot because they're really tough to pull off. So, especially when you're covering all 6 notes. But I do, I'll tend to squeeze in, some 3 or 4 string arpeggios, and I do have one that I use a lot. I'll use it every once in a while. I'll sneak it in, but I use it a lot to warm up with too, because it utilizes your pinky and you can stretch your hands out real good, and we'll get into that one. We can get into that one now. Short break. We'll be right back. How's that? Looking good? Yep. Everything's all right? Good deal. All right. This one, like I said, you can use it. It's an arpeggio. You can use it out of whatever key you like. If you like, throw it in out of an A or an E or whatever. I'm going to try to keep it in E to make it, for simplicity's sake, also for stretch sake, because it does tend to stretch out a little bit. You have to use your pinky on this one. If you're a pinky player, you'll be fine on this one. First part of it is we'll start with your low E on the 12th, A on the 11th, and then D on the 9. So there's your first 3 notes. So you got, again, you got E on the 12th, A on the 11th, and D on the 9. So you got. The next thing you want to do a hammer-on the 12th fret with your pinky on your D. So you got. So there's your first 4 parts. I guess you could on 4 parts. And again, you pretty much want to use your pinky on this one. If you try to do it this way, you'd have to do that and then slide that finger up. Whereas if you do it, if you do it this way, your pinky's already there. It's more comfortable that way. For me, it is anyway. If you want to use your ring finger, it's fine. But, so there's your first 4 parts. And after you hit that D on the 12th, you want to slide it up with the pinky, if possible, to the 14th. So here's what we do at that point. All right, here you go. So there's your next movement. Here's up to speed with just that part. See that slide up with the pinky. Now at this point, you want to keep that pinky planted because it's going to be used again. 14th on the D. And you got your G on the 13th, and then your B on the 12th. So let's do, there's those 3. 14, 13, 12, D, G, B. 14, 13, 12. You might want to be saying, why don't you just use these? Well, you can't, because the next part coming up requires a little bit of a stretch. So here we go. So there you go. So there's your next part. You got 10 on the high E, so you got and then you're going to hammer onto the 12th fret on the E, so you got so there it is up to speed, sort of. And you want to bring it back down, so you got that. And you want to pull off, walk it back. And again, I'm not perfect with them, but that's kind of how that arpeggio goes. I don't know where I got that one. I think what I did is I threw 2 of them together and just kind of did it that way. Now, if you want to use that arpeggio and you want to turn it minor, then what you want to do is same fingering. When you get to this part, you get to the E, you want to bring it up to the 11th fret, hammer on the 12th, and then walk it back. So that last part there will sound like that. And you can use that arpeggio anywhere, that 4-string, it works everywhere quite nicely. It's pretty straightforward. You can use it everywhere. And you can muffle them if you want to walk that up as an exercise or whatever to loosen up with. And just walk it all the way up. It works like that well also. So again, we'll do it slow. And that's, like I said, that's a stretcher. It takes a little bit to get that one going. That's kind of a tough one to get going. That one works everywhere. You can do it. I was doing that out of E. I think we were going there. You can do it out of A. The thing is, it tends to really stretch out when you get into this area. So that takes a little bit of stretching, but you'll get it. And again, with these arpeggios, you want to start them out slow, just to make sure you're not, try to let your pick fall the best you can. I get kind of sloppy with that on the way back sometimes, but we all have our weaknesses when it comes to playing. So again, it's and you can use it everywhere. And you can use that arpeggio like this also if you just want to do it as a 4-string. Or you can minor it up a little bit. Or you can do them both as an exercise. Well, that's kind of tough to do, but And, you know what I'm saying. But that's a good one to work on. It's a good one to warm up with if you want to throw it in some of your soloing. If you've never seen or used that one before, that's a good one to use. Now, I do have one that I use on stage, during some of the shows. It's I call it my arpeggio fake, which is some people are good at that, and I kind of like to use this one as an arpeggio fake. I'll throw it in real quick because nobody's expecting it. They can't really analyze it because they didn't see it coming. So I'll turn some delay on for this one. I'll keep it out of E again just for simplicity's sake. All this one is just you take your, like if you're going out of E, you take your low E, 12 to 16, and then just walk your whole chord up, and then tap on with your pinky again on the high E on the 16, and then just kind of bring the whole chord back. And I've actually got a couple compliments out of that from shows where people say, I kind of like that arpeggio you did at the end of that song, and that's what it is. It's kind of it is an arpeggio, but I kind of fake my way through it because I'm not, exceptional at them, but I can do them well enough to do them. But anyway, what you do is 12, 16. And you want to walk all the way down to 16 on the high E. And if you notice in a lot of these pieces, I use my pinky a lot. That's why I tell everybody, if you're playing, you're a lead player, you're losing out if you're not using your pinky. It can make things easier, build your hand strength, your dexterity. I would highly recommend, if you're not using your pinky as a lead player, to try to start using it. To start simple. Start with turn this delay off. Start with this one like we did last week, where it's just an exercise. It's a good one just to get your pinky going. Just something like that. It keeps your pinky. And if you haven't done that one before, that one can be quite difficult. If you haven't done that one before, because what you're doing is you're separating each finger, and if you do it enough, you get your muscle memory with your fingers, and you'll start feeling it. Those are kind of tough though, so I would recommend, start out of A and do it here. And you want to keep your hands loose. You want to keep this hand loose. Don't try to press so hard. You don't want to squeeze it to death and kill the strings. And just a light touch. Just enough to get the string down. You don't want to squeeze that and try to choke it to death. You don't want to do that. That'll kill your hand, and you won't be able to do it no more than 8-10 seconds because your hand it'll lock up on. You'll have whatever. So again, just now that important part of that, it does start with an upstroke. So just like that. Again, I started with an upstroke. I don't know if that's wrong or right, but for me it works perfectly. I mean, if you want to start with a downstroke, it seems kind of awkward for me to start it as a downstroke. Start with an upstroke. It works fantastic that way for me, so I'm sure it would be just fine for you. And you can use that. You can do it anywhere. You can do it on any string, any position. And it's a good just to warm up with. And being on a 7-string, if you can do all the strings all the way down, your hand's in shape. So it's tough to do that for some reason. That last string, you can whether it be your E or B. It's kind of tough to do that because you want to tip of your fingers. Don't want to get up unless you really want to claw your hand up this way. You can do it that way if you like, but whatever's comfortable for you. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's another one you can do. It's a good little workout. Again, that other one, we'll go back real quick. So that's a good one to exercise, or who's going to use it in your soloing or whatever. Another one I was asked about was maybe a speed. I want to show you a speed picking lick. Now, again, speed picking's up for debate. If you like to, sometimes, I'll use just my thumb and finger. Not a lot of people can do that. A lot of people can do it, but where you just move your thumb and your finger. Now, if I'm doing a speed pick lick, which requires more notes, you'll see me kind of stiffen up a little bit, and I'll show you one that I like to do a lot, which is it's another filler or a tagger you can throw in right before a vocal. Kind of goes like this. Now that one works on your D or your D and your A, or you can use it on your D and G. It works on either one. Basically, it's just a and you just walk that up, but you want to get that crunching going with your pick speeding up. So what that does is and you kind of end it with a maybe a little squeal or something there, but basically what it is. And once again, if you'll notice, you got that pinky in there. That's kind of tough to do. That one especially, because then you have to, you have to do this. And that's very awkward. You don't want to do that. So get that pinky going. Again, it works on the D and the G if you like to do it there. Warrior. Now you can also throw in an extra slide up. Sometimes I'll do that. Slide up. Just a half slide up. You can do that too, if you'd like to get that in. But that's a good little speed picker. what you want to do like that. You can do some scales with that, like on your high E, like that, if you like to use them there. But, that's tough to keep it going. Is, you know, but that's a good speed picker. And then again, what I'm doing there, and this isn't in concrete, you can do it wherever. 12, 13, 15 on your D and G or your A and D. Like that. And you can go backwards. Works either way. That's a good little speed picker. Let's try another tapper. I don't remember exactly which one this was. This is kind of, again, I'm going to keep it out of E, keep it simple. I don't know where I got this one, if it was Paul Gilbert or one of them guys that do these really well. This is kind of a stretcher. You got 15, 17, 19, and then you got your anchor down here on the 12th with your index finger. So that one's similar to the other one, but it's stretched out a little bit further. So you do it the same way. You want to start your left hand first, and then get your tap on there. So it's and again, that's similar to the other one. Again, that other one was here. This one's more of a stretcher. And you can do it, I mean, if you just want to be part of it, you can be part of it. If you want to slide up on that, you can do that. Whatever works for you. Another tapper, we'll do one more before we get off here today. This is one that I do, and this is definitely an Eddie type deal, but I kind of had back in the day I would throw in a 2-minute solo, and this here was part of it. It's kind of Mean Street kind of sounding, but it's not. But I kind of threw this in, like I said, in my little 2-minute spotlight I had when I did solo. So I'm going to keep this one out of the open position so it's easier so you can see what's going on. But basically it was something like and what that one was is I would kind of just do some open notes first. Just kind of fiddle around there. Just jump around. Like that, and it worked out pretty good. You throw that in, and just kind of get that going. And they're just open positions with your and you're hammering on the 12th. So you got your just your G and your D. Right here you're just 9 and 10 on your G and D. And you just hammer it. And then you just walk your positions down. Walking around, and it's some tapping, but it's got a little bit extra to it, so it doesn't sound as typical as yours. Which is cool too, but this kind of gives it a little extra something. Now with that, with those grips and everything, you can move that around. You can feel it. You can go there, go here, and then go here. Go all the way down if you want. Like that. Move around. Now, if you're saying I'm doing it hiding with the delay, I can do it without the delay. So you want to do what you want to do. This was no effect at all. And that was kind of the highlight of my solo. I threw it at the end. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. So that's just another idea. You can use that as a that'll definitely warm your hands up and get you going there. So maybe we'll go over that next time. But we got about 10 seconds. So till next week, practice up. And if you got anything you want to ask me, send me something on Facebook. Everybody knows how to get a hold of me. Anything I can do to help, I'm there. So see you next week.